In today's show, 5 bold predictions for the Trailblazers season, plus the best lineup you'll never see. Welcome to Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazers reporter, Mike Richmond. You are listening to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube, coming at you each and every weekday, Monday through Friday. So make it a part of your daily routine. Tell your friends to do the same. It's Locked On Blazers, your team every day. Today's show, got a little bit of roster news we'll take care of at the top of the show, and then 5 bold predictions for the head of the season. I got some preseason predictions and that I will share with you. And then finally, I will do my disappearing lineup trick, the best lineup you'll never see. I've got a gift. I can make a lineup disappear, and I will share that trick with you at the end of the show. But let's get with the news. Then we'll go bold predictions. Then I'll show you my disappearing lineup trick. The news, Duop Reath is sticking around. The Blazers, according to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, first reported by Woj, are signing Duop Reath to a 2-way deal. The problem is, though, or the complication is, rather, is that the Blazers had their 2-way spots filled. Skylar Mays was on a 2-way contract. Justin Minaya recently got a 2-way contract. The Blazers had to waive John Butler Jr. to do so, and now Reath comes in, and the Blazers are waiving Ibu Baji, who ended up never playing a game for the Blazers in the regular season. Baji will hit waivers, could become a free agent, could sign elsewhere as a 2-way player, could conceivably sign just a straight-up G League contract with the Blazers. We'll see. But that is that. If you're scoring at home, John Butler Jr., after he was waived by the Blazers, ended up signing a 2-way deal with the Washington Wizards. So 2-way contracts, they're fully non-guaranteed. They don't count against the cap. It's a tough way to make a living out there because you can be waived at any moment, but Reath sticks around. I think the real thing to like sort of catch on to here, if you're paying attention to the Blazers, I'm a big tea leaves guy, and I think this is an easy tea leaves thing to see. During the preseason, there's only so much time you have to invest, and the folks who played in preseason played. Justin Minaya played with the regular group. He ended up getting a 2-way deal. Duop Reath played with the regular group. He ended up getting a 2-way deal. John Butler Jr. didn't see a minute. Baji didn't see a minute. Kevin Knox was the 11th guy in preseason, and he ends up getting cut. You know, some stuff comes out of nowhere, right? Ish Wainwright hits waivers, and the Blazers decide that they're going to be Suns Northwest, and so they keep adding Suns players off the scrap heap. But some of that stuff you can't see, but in terms of like developmental investment, and that's a phrase I've used a bunch with this team this year, and sort of like the resources that you have to invest in players' developmental time, a lot of that is minutes, and the guys who played minutes ended up being part of the team. They showed you exactly what it's going to be in preseason. So I don't think that was always the case with past Blazer iterations. This Blazer iteration seems to do it right in front of our faces. So in the future, pay attention, because we should have known that they were for sure invested in Reath and for sure invested in Minaya, because those dudes played. Skylar Mays played a bunch in preseason, still on the team. Like these are folks that they have real investment in. I think Reath is, he's now going to be technically, I guess, the Blazers' 4th center on the roster, and seems like a good clean spot for him to land. He's probably a 3rd center, like fringe backup center in the league, and he is now treated as exactly that. So, shout out to Reath, who's fun in Summer League. Those guys typically don't always find their homes with the team that they played in Summer League with, but Reath finds his home. So good on you, Wop. Welcome to the club. Okay, let's go with bold predictions. I'll share one here and then more the rest of the show. My first bold prediction, I got 5 for you in today's episode, 5 bold predictions. I know you're excited because here's what I do with this stuff. I get it wrong, and then you can circle back to the Tuesday, October 24th episode and say, Mike, you were so wrong. Like, you were so wrong. And I know some of my enterprising listeners will do so. So that's why I want to call that one out. Starts here at about the 5-minute mark of the show. Be sure to tell me how wrong I got it. First bold prediction. Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, and DeAndre Ayton will all set career highs in scoring. Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, and DeAndre Ayton will all set individual career highs for scoring. Anthony Simons came a year ago when he averaged 21.1 points. He's going north of 21.1. Jeremy Grant averaged 22.3 points per game during his first season with the Pistons in the 2021 season. 22.3. Jeremy Grant's going north of 22.3. And DeAndre Ayton averaged 18 points per game last season. He actually averaged 18.2 during his second NBA season, but that year he only played 38 games. And I'm going with the sort of statistical minimums career high. So Ayton above 18, Jeremy Grant above 22.3, and Anthony Simons above 21.1. This I think all these gentlemen are going to play a bunch. I think Simons is going to play 36 minutes a night. I think Jeremy Grant is going to play a bunch, 37 minutes a night, because they just don't have a lot of capable power forwards behind him. And Ayton, the Blazers are like, he's the centerpiece of the Damian Lillard trade depending on how you want to look at it. That's how I look at it. You can look at it any way you like. Malcolm Brogdon, the centerpiece of the Damian Lillard trade. But DA is like, the Blazers have a lot invested in him finding it here. And DeAndre Ayton is an offensive player. That's his gift. He's an offensive player. Got great touch, good mid-range touch, loves a little sort of floater range, right-handed shots. His skill set is really, really solid touch, 15 feet and in, and maybe he'll expand that. But the Blazers have a great deal invested in DeAndre Ayton being like good, and the thing he's good at is on offense. I think he's going to score. I think he's going to average 19 to 22 points per game. Every time he's just going to have the ball a bunch. They're losing 30 points per game from Dame. There's points to be spread around. You assume that they score maybe less efficiently, but around the same number of total points, just be it on worse shooting. Ant's can average, 20, 22 and 23 a game. No problem. It's right there for him, even more if depending on sort of how the other guards shake out. And Jeremy Grant is just going to get a ton of ISO chances. I think the efficiency drops for Grant. I think which could make this one, his is the diciest one in this prediction, but I think Jeremy Grant averaging 23 a game, I have even 22 and a half is over. I got no problem seeing that one. I got more bold predictions, like where the Blazers are going to finish on offense and defense, and a winning streak prediction that you probably didn't even know about. Let's talk about that in the second segment, but first, let me tell you about FanDuel. It's America's #1 sportsbook, and right now during the NFL season, it is a wonderful time to get involved. If you're thinking about joining FanDuel, go ahead and do it, because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. All you got to do, place a $5 bet. That's $200 bonus bets, win or lose, once you place a single $5 bet. The app's super easy to use. It's got safe and fast withdrawals. It's got bets on absolutely everything. So once you do get your $200 in bonus bets, wide range of options in the NFL to bet on, like spreads, player props, over-unders, and a whole bunch more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn and get involved in this NFL season. That's FanDuel, an official partner of the NFL. All right. Let's keep it rocking. I got more bold predictions. Here's a bold prediction. The Blazers are going to finish bottom 5 in offense and bottom 5 in defense this year. Look, I've been reading, today's the day, I'm recording this on Monday, October 23rd. You listen to Tuesday, October 24th show, as I mentioned. Today's the day for everyone to release their first batch of power rankings, preseason power rankings. And you know where the Blazers are in power rankings? They're at the bottom. They're at the bottom. They're a team that most of the prognosticators think is going to be somewhere between the 28th and the 30th best team in the league. A team that's going to have very good lottery odds come next year, because the Blazers are young, they lack quality depth, and they lack like true star power at the top of their roster. And they are rightly turning over the keys of the franchise to 19-year-old Scoot Henderson. This is the correct way to go about it. But in doing so, in developing a team and building up from, even if this isn't the ground floor, if this is the second floor, you got above the lobby and you're in that second floor. If this is the second floor, well, it's a 35-story building to get to the top. Like, it's a long way to go to get those mountain views there of Mount Hood on the penthouse. So as they make their climb to the penthouse, they're doing things the right way, right? They're They're committing the sort of that developmental investment into young players. Even some of their veterans like Rob Williams and DeAndre Ayton are young veterans. Throw Matisse Thybulle in there as a young veteran. Anthony Simons, a 24-year-old entering his 6th NBA season, a young veteran. Like I think they're doing things the right way. I also think they're going to stink on both sides of the ball. They struggled on defense in the preseason. I don't think that is super, super, super meaningful in terms of the numbers. The numbers suggest they were soups dupes bad. They were not good. But like just your eyeballs, you could see them get confused on what they wanted to do in that zone defense. I think really the thing that is more worrisome than the 2-3 zone, because the thing about the zone is you can just not play it. You can just not play it. But their transition defense was a mess. They played the Suns twice, and they played Utah. And those are good offensive teams. Teams are likely to finish in the top 10 in offense again this season. Wouldn't surprise me if both those teams are in the top 10 in offense. The Jazz don't really have a point guard, so maybe they drop back a little bit. Apologies to THT, but they know what they don't have. But those are good teams. The problem is there's a lot of freaking good teams in the Western Conference that you're going to play every night. There's more bad teams in the East, and the Blazers will get to play each of those teams twice. But I think this team is headed for bottom 5 in both offense and defense. Last season, according to Cleaning the Glass, my preferred stats website for this type of thing, because it filters out garbage time, and surely the Blazers played some garbage time last year. The Blazers were 30th in defense and 15th in offense a season ago. 15th in offense with the year that Damian Lillard had. Oof. And then prior to that, Chauncey's first season, 27th on offense, 29th in defense. They were bottom 3 Chauncey's first year, and they had vets on that roster. Vets that they eventually booted and went another direction with, but like they were certainly more talented than this year's team. Not nearly the upside, but in terms of just like overall NBA talent, more talented. So while you might say bottom 5 in both, that's haterism. I would say that in recent vintage, you've seen a Chauncey Billups coach team finish bottom 3 in both offense and defense. You've never seen them finish out of the bottom 2 in defense. They've got better defensive personnel, but I am just not seeing it. I will say, I haven't seen Robert Williams play a single minute in a Blazers jersey, and this is the one that he could easily, like, he's like a defensive player of the year candidate if he's fully healthy and plays a whole bunch of games and plays like 1,900 minutes or whatever. Like, he's really stinking good. Matisse Thybulle's a good defensive player. That might be it for me complimenting individual defenders on the defense. Jeremy Grant has a good defensive reputation. I'm not sure he's a good defensive player. I think he could be. I'm not sure he's been one in a Blazers uniform yet. You can fight me in the comments on YouTube or email me lockedonblazerspod@gmail.com. They're going to finish bottom 5 in both offense and defense. They're just going to struggle, and it's the right thing for them to do because taking their lumps is the direction they should head. Okay, so that was kind of hateration. Let's go the other way. Let's bounce it back. For the first time under Chauncey Billups, here's a bold prediction. For the first time under Chauncey Billups, the Blazers will win 5 consecutive games. At some point this season, the Blazers will rip off a 5-game winning streak. They've never done it. They've never done it. They've never won. In 2 seasons, Chauncey Billups has never coached a team that has won a 5th consecutive game. His first year, they started off the year 6-8, and then they ripped off 4 straight games. They got to 10-8 in November of 2021, and then they never got back above 500 after that. They were awful, basically, from the 18-game mark on. They were bad. They were bad. They eventually tore it down, and they were really bad on purpose, but they were bad. The reason that they tore it down is because they were bad. But then, right before the All-Star break, trade for Josh Hart, they trade for Justice Winslow, they rip off 4 straight wins, and then eventually, with the help from, I think, a little prodding from Jason Quick, I don't think Jason Kidd was involved. With a little prodding from Jason Quick, several players on the roster pointed to that 4-game winning streak right before the All-Star break in February of 2022 as sort of proof of concept for the way they wanted to play. Or Josh Hart shot really well from 3. It was one of the two. It was either that they played the perfect style of basketball that fit exactly what they wanted to do, or Josh Hart reined in 3-pointers. You have to look at the box score to make sure that it wasn't just Josh Hart shooting an absolutely absurd 55% from 3 over a week. They won those 2 4-game winning streaks during Chauncey's first season. And then last year, they started off the season 4-0. They beat the Suns in overtime on a great move by Anthony Simons. They beat the Lakers when the Lakers absolutely melted down, and Damian Lillard hit a big 3, and Anthony Simons had a big layup late, and Jeremy Grant hits a big layup late. They thrashed the Nuggets at home. Start 4-0. Didn't win 4 games in a row for the rest of the season. But all that's changing, y'all. It's changing. They're finally going to figure it out. This, for the first time in the Chauncey Billups era, the Blazers are going to win 5 games in a row this year. You might say, Mike, you think this team's going to win 28 games? You think they're going to lose? You think they're going to be bottom 5 on offense, bottom 5 on defense? And you think they're going to win 5 in a row? I do. Life contains multitudes. You can win 5 in a row and lose, 13 of 16. No problem, baby. It's no problem. They're going to win 5 in a row this year. They're going to finally do it. Part of me thinks that is because I think they're going to just naturally struggle. And so they're not going to have those games. They're not going to have to lose 9 straight or 10 of 11 at the end of the season by like super aggressive tanking, because I think they're just going to be like natural bad based on their youth and talent level. Will they, if they have if they need to lose on purpose? Absolutely. This team has shown a deep commitment to losing on purpose when need be. I just think naturally they won't have to. So maybe at the end of the season, when Scoot Henderson's played 60 games and year 2 Shaedon Sharp's like hitting his stride and all of those things, maybe when you get there, they'll be rolling right along, and they'll win 5 in a row. 5 in a row in, let's call it March. 5-game winning streak in March. Do you believe? That's why it's a bold prediction. Okay. One more. And then we're going to take a break. I promise we'll get to 5. Here's my 4th one. None of the opening night starters will be traded this season. It's bold prediction number 4. None of the opening night starters will be traded this season. On opening night, the Blazers are going to start Anfernee Simons. They're going to start Scoot Henderson, Matisse Thybulle, Jeremy Grant, and DeAndre Ayton. And my bold prediction is that none of those 5 players will be traded this season. Obviously, they're not going to trade Scoot. It'd be very weird if they traded DeAndre Ayton after the level of investment they have seemed to put into him, the level of sort of prioritizing getting DeAndre Ayton as a part of the Damian Lillard swap that the franchise sort of invested in. Matisse Thybulle is like certainly tradable, but I don't think he can veto trade. So he because he came back in a restricted deal. He has to sign off on deals for this season. But I don't know that Thybulle has super deep value. Certainly he could play himself into more value. So we're really talking about Anfernee Simons and Jeremy Grant. My bold prediction is that neither Grant nor Simons, and particularly Jeremy Grant, because Simons is he's the best guard on the roster. He might blossom into something really special this year, and there's no reason to rush to trade him in February. You find out what you have with the rest of the roster, and then you make that decision down the line. But you certainly don't need to do that at the 55 game mark of the season. Jeremy Grant's something else though, right? He's a little bit older. He just signed this big contract. It's unlikely that Jeremy Grant will have a lot of value. Well, I mean, he'll still be probably a pretty good. I think this team is going to be competitive in Scoot's 3rd season. I don't think they're going to be good, but like championship level good, but competitive. I think they'll win they could win half or more of their games in Scoot's 3rd season. I believe that. Why do I believe that? Because I just think Scoot Henderson's going to be good, and I think he'll raise the tide, and I kind of believe in this team to grow the right way. I will hedge against this and hate and hate on the Blazers. Don't worry, I love being wrong, but so I think Jeremy Grant could be part of the next good Blazer team, but he also just has more value on a good team because of his size and sort of the positional scarcity. And I think he is a good defensive player as a complementary defender. He is not a good point of attack defender. He just would be a lot better if he could guard only 4s, because that's the position he guards best in the league, and he could mostly be kind of like a passing lanes, shot blocking disruptor, and then guarding 4s in isolation and not have to chase around small players. I think he has some utility to good teams because I think he's a pretty good basketball player. He's obviously a good offensive player. But my bold prediction is that Ant, because I don't think it makes sense, and Jeremy Grant, just because I'm straight up guessing, neither of them get traded. No one who starts on opening night gets traded. That's a bold prediction for you. Okay, one more bold prediction. It's about Scoot Henderson Plus. I'm going to share with you my disappearing lineup trick. I can make a lineup disappear. This is truly a magic trick. I don't really claim to be a lot of things. I'm good at reading the tea leaves, and I kind of have a good way of working through the logic on here, but I will claim this. I can make a lineup disappear. I'm going to show you that trick to close the show. First, I want to tell you about Gametime. This is the number one spot for last-minute tickets. Gametime is an app that you can get on your phone, and then you can decide to go to a game day of. It's the best place if you are a last-minute decider to decide to go to it, to get those last-minute tickets. Why I like Gametime is because, say you want to go to a Blazer game, right? You pull up the app on your phone, you open it, you say, Blazers Magic, Friday nights, the home opener, I want to go see it. But you haven't decided till, Thursday evening, Friday morning. Well, you'll see last minute tickets. They got flash deals. They got section deals. Plus, what you see is what you get. There's no hidden fees. If it says it's going to cost you $58, it's going to cost you $58. So go download the Gametime app. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Use that redemption code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA, and you'll get $20 off this. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Still a pass first point guard. I'm still Mike Richmond, and you are still listening to Locked On Blazers. Bold predictions. Here's my fifth and final one, and then I'm going to show you my disappearing lineup trick. Final bold prediction. Scoot Henderson will not win Rookie of the Year, but he will lead all rookies in scoring. No rookie is going to score more points than Scoot Henderson this season. None of them. I don't think he can win Rookie of the Year. Like, he can. He can. He is talented enough to win Rookie of the Year. Also, Rookie of the Year is kind of a minutes battle, and Scoot's gonna be fine in the minutes battle. He's gonna get his 32-ish a night and play and have opportunities and have the ball in his hands and all the things, right? Like, the Blazers are, I'll say it again, rightly turning over the keys to the youngster. It is the absolutely right thing to do developmentally. But Victor Wembanyama looks awesome. He looks like one of maybe the 20 best defensive players in the NBA right now. He hasn't played a game yet. Like, he's freaking really good on that end. If his little leaning jumpers, he can take over anyone, punishing mismatches, just like shooting over little guys, dunking home rebounds. Like, if the offense comes around, he's just gonna be really good. He's gonna be really good. And I also think Chet Holmgren. I watched one of OKC's preseason games, 1.5. I watched like a little bit of that first Chet Wemby game, and then another one, a later OKC game into the preseason. And Chet looks really good. He looks really good. He can play. And I think those guys are got to be heavy favorites to win Rookie of the Year. Scoot after them, maybe Asar Thompson, because he's going to start for the Pistons, and I think he's talented, but he's like a deep dark horse. I think Scoot's got an uphill battle just because of the talent ahead of him in this rookie class. Chet obviously was the previous draft class, but he didn't play. Rookie class, ask Ben Simmons and Blake Griffin. That's your rookie class. So I don't think he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but I do think he has a legit chance. And in fact, my bold prediction is that he will lead all rookies in scoring. I was going to go really bold and say that he would be the Blazers' all-time rookie scoring leader, but I don't think that. Jeff Petrie scored 24.8 points per game. Sidney Wicks 24.5. Dame 19. I don't think Scoot's gonna average 20. I just don't think there's enough shots for him to be for me to be comfortable saying he'll average 20. He could. I mean, scoring's way up around the league. The Blazers are going to play fast or want to play fast. Scoot's got some skills. I think he's going to be a really good basketball player, but I can't I want to be honest in my bold predictions. I'm bold, but I want to be honest in them. I don't think Scoot's going to do that. Brandon Roy, 16.8 per game as a rookie. I think that's doable right there. That's in play. But I'm not sure, 17 and 7 assists wouldn't surprise me at all from Scoot, right? 17 and 7, it seems, and 4.5 rebounds seems like a totally reasonable, very, very, very good rookie year, right? Like, that'd be an awesome rookie year. But I do think he's going to lead rookies in scoring. I think he's going to be your rookie scoring leader. He's going to be first team all rookie. He's going to be super, super special, but just in this particular class, I do not think he is going to win Rookie of the Year. Okay. You want to see a trick? I bet you do. If you're a longtime listener to the program, you know that I think the main thing coaches do once the game starts is decide who plays and when. People misquote me on that. It's not the only thing coaches do. It's the only thing coaches do once the regular season game starts, is decide who plays and when. They obviously do other stuff. It's like simplifying it. But even my like pithy little phrase, sometimes you all get wrong and quote me as saying that NBA coaches don't do anything. Which is fine. It's funny to be to be categorized as such. But I have been picking each of the last 3 seasons. This is my 4th year doing this. I will pick my favorite Blazer lineup. I say, okay, we're heading into the season. Who plays and when matters to me. Lineups matter to me because it's not just your skill set, but it's your skill set in relation to who's on the court with you. That's like how the sport is played. That's the sort of chess match and the interesting stuff that I think is fun in basketball, right? Like that to me, that's the exciting part. So every year, the last 4 years, this will be my 4th year, last 3 years, I have picked my favorite Blazer lineup. And then those groupings never play together. 7 minutes in 3 seasons. Disappearing lineup trick. In 2020, 2021, this is Terry Stott's last season, my favorite lineup, my preferred preseason lineup, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Rodney Hood, Robert Covington, Derrick Jones Jr. I want to see the Blazers go small with newly signed Covington and DJJ, with Hood at the 3 for some shooting and a little bit of size and play their 2 best guards. That grouping with Stotts in his final year played 4 minutes together. But what are you going to do? Stotts is stubborn. Whatever. Moving along. So he gets to Chauncey Billups. 21-22, Chauncey's first year. The Blazers had added Larry Nance in the offseason, and I want to see Dame, CJ, Rocco, Larry Nance, and Yusuf Nurkic. I want to see them go big, right? They're 2 best players and big across the board. In 21-22, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, Robert Covington, Larry Nance, and Yusuf Nurkic, that 5-man grouping played 0 minutes together under Chauncey Billups. 0! So in 2 seasons, I was up to 4 minutes. So then last year, I said, all right, okay. You know what? I haven't been good at this, but I do have logic for why I like these things. And I said my favorite lineup is Dame plus the wings. Damian Lillard, Josh Hart, Nazir Little, Justice Winslow, and Jeremy Grant. I actually had an alternative version of that, which included Gary Payton, but at the time, Gary Payton was hurt. So I said, let's not include injured people. Let's not handicap ourselves. Let's just say, like, let's, if I'm already going to be wrong, let's try to get, players who are healthy heading into night 1. Dame, Josh Hart, Nazir Little, Justice Winslow, Jeremy Grant, the wings plus Dame, right? The Blazers didn't really have bigs last year. They didn't really have backup. They had Drew Eubanks, but they had been signaling they were going to go small, and they're going to comfortably go small. And even early on in the season, they did a couple times. That group, Dame, Josh Hart, Naz, Winslow, and Jeremy, played 3 minutes together in 3 seasons. My favorite lineups have played 7 total minutes. 7 total minutes. This is unbelievable. I don't think these are challenging groups. I think these are normal, thoughtful groups. But the lineups can disappear. It's a freaking magic trick. All right, so I'm going to make one disappear. Brace yourselves. These gentlemen aren't even going to play 5 minutes together all season long. My lineup I want to see. Scoot Henderson, Shaedon Sharpe, Jeremy Grant, Rob Williams, DeAndre Ayton. Scoot, Shea, JG, Rob, DA. Scoot, Shea, JG, Rob, and DA. That's the 2 young guards with Scoot and Shaedon Sharpe. I want to see them play together a bunch. Jeremy Grant a little bit at the 3. I think Jeremy Grant's a 4. Certainly on defense, I think he's a 4, but the Blazers don't have a ton of like true I'm an NBA small forward types. And why not, if you're going to be playing young guards, just go really big. Let's like have Jeremy Grant play a little bit of small forward. Everyone's been screaming for it. Why not try going really big? Scoot and Shea at the guards, Jeremy Grant at the 3, Rob Williams at the 4, and DeAndre Ayton at the 5. It doesn't really matter what position you think Rob Williams or DeAndre Ayton plays. To me, 2 bigs. It's a 2 big lineup with Jeremy Grant, Scoot, and Shea. I think like functionally on offense, DeAndre Ayton would play power forward because he's more comfortable spacing, and Rob Williams would be a screener and a better passer. So you'd want him as the 5 in the pick and roll actions. But to me, the positions are not majorly meaningful. And Rob Williams might be better guarding the 4 on the other end. I don't think this group can play a ton together because I don't think you can play 2 bigs a lot. But what about 30 minutes of this across 82 games? I don't need to see it often. But what about 30 minutes of this? Scoot, Shea, JG, Rob, and DA. That's never going to happen. How about this? I'm gonna lower my standards. In the disappearing lineup trick over the first 3 seasons of it, which wasn't a disappearing lineup trick to be certain in year 1. It was just an idea to play small. And in year 2 it was an idea to play big. And last year was an idea to play with the wings because the team was wing heavy, right? Right. It's like every year it's kind of like lean into the new parts you have and try them together in this combination. That's kind of been the theme of these in different ways, right? How about if they beat 7? The goal for this group is to play 8 minutes together. Scoot Henderson, Shaedon Sharpe, Jeremy Grant, Rob Williams, DeAndre Ayton play 8 minutes together during the 2023-24 season. Then it'll be the end of the disappearing lineup trick. If they don't, come back for year 5. Come back for year 5. Scoot, Shea, JG, and Rob, along with DA. Oh, man. Oh, man, I feel bad for saying it out loud. Okay. Tomorrow's show is going to be a really fun one. Darian Vazeri from Locked On Clippers is going to join the program. We got a crossover episode previewing opening night Clippers-Blazers down in Los Angeles. Darian does a really good job on Locked On Clips, super plugged in and a real basketball mind. You're not going to want to miss that one. That's going to be Wednesday's show waiting in your feed on game day. Thursday, we will talk about the Blazers' first game, preseason thoughts, and then Friday, we'll look ahead. Home opener on Friday night, a whole bunch of fun. Season's here. Here's what we do. 5 days a week, wherever you get podcasts. Tell your friends about it. Sorry for making that lineup disappear. I appreciate you listening. I'll talk to you soon.